Napkin will work well also, okay? Doesn't have to be a napkin. And I'll do two things here, and I think these guys will work for me. They're pretty tired. You notice there's a shiny side and a dull side, okay? One of my morning educators told me that the reason the shiny side is out is because the rice will stick better to the rough or the dull side. And that may be the case, but everything I've ever read about sushi making always says shiny side out. Again, your students will want to put a ton of stuff on here. So encourage them to make their rice layer very, very thin. About spreading the rice. Kind of use your fingers like the blade of a bulldozer rather than the wheels of a steamroller. Don't smash the rice down to spread it around. Kind of push it away. Again, trying to maintain the shape of the grains of rice. This is enough. I could push this rice out all the way to the edge. This sushi now will make me a sushi that's going to be about that big around. If I push the rice all the way out to the edge, then maybe I'm going to make a sushi that's going to be about that big around. It's whatever you want. On your workstations, you have a little pink sauce. That is a mixture of mayonnaise, sriracha chili, rice vinegar, and water. The water is just so that we can squirt it through the little tip. And that would go fine right here too. I don't have to put wasabi on everything. But anyway, so. Save some big bright colors. A lot of filling makes rolling a little more difficult. So this is kind of a lot of filling already. I'm going to stop there. All right, when I start my roll, I'm going to use my fingers to hold my fill-in place. Roll over. Then when I get enough of it so that I can get my fingers on the edge of the nori, then I continue with the roll. Okay. Now I can use the bamboo roller the way it's designed and just keep going. When I get to the point, sticks to everything. At the end, I go ahead and again moisten the edge. So I'm trying not to dribble a bunch of water on my workstation, and just keep rolling it up. Then when I get all the way to the end, I go ahead and roll it all the way up like so. Now, if I'm worried about the rice on my ends not being too stiff or too integrated, I'll tighten it up. And just push them in. Okay? Give it a little squeeze, and now we have a nice little roll. Okay. Now, without bothering to make another one, I'm going to take this roll back. I'm going to put it on here, like this. And I'm going to turn it into a square. I'm going to press down on the top with my index fingers, and with my thumb and the rest of my fingers, squeeze the sides. And at the same time, push down on the whole thing. It's a little less common, but now I've made it in a square. Okay. And the last, also, your bamboo mats will last a lot longer if you get your students to keep it covered with saran wrap whenever they're using it. It saves cleanup time too. And the bamboo really doesn't like to get washed very much. Okay, so for the last guy, I'm going to do an inside out. And so I'll take a piece of nori. Take some you know, when you guys are planning this thing out, find out what people like. Make anything you want. True, if you go to a sushi house and a sushi has a name, that means it has to be made in a certain way. But there's nothing that says you can't just use artistic license and make a variety of different things. Try to get to the edge, try to keep your rice filling square and even. And also in your little spaces we have a mixture of toasted white sesame seeds and black sesame seeds. You're welcome to use them for anything you want. I would use them to protect this roll, but yes, that's all. Yeah, that's all I have. So I'm not going to do it. So I'm just going to do this. And now that makes that roll a little less sticky and not quite so much a challenge to cut. And speaking of cutting, that's kind of where we're at right now. I would encourage you to get, if you don't already have one, a thin bladed knife. So a bony knife would work. You know, when I talk about thin blade, I'm not talking about this way, I'm talking about this way. This is my favorite guy for this. In general, and again, just thinking in general, a roll would be cut into 8 pieces. You can cut it into less if you want to. Really, you want to use a sawing motion. You don't want to use a chopping motion. And of course, the inside-out roll is like the hardest guy to cut because the rice sticks to it. My rice is a little overdone, but